Okay, I think we're good to go. We're going now.
Brilliant. No, thank you.
No problems.
Great stuff then. Yeah, so have you got questions you want to ask and stuff, or or do you want me to organically just talk? Do you or
Um, Bit of both. I mean, I have got a couple of questions. Um, but some of them some of them you probably know, some of them you probably don't know. So so
yeah, fine.
yeah. Who wants to? Do you want to start first, or should I start first?
Well, obviously, thank you for welcoming me on your podcast show. My name's Andrew Ruscoe, chairman, founder, first team manager somehow of FC United of Wrexham. Uh, Founded in 2020. Basically founded by Tom Winsper, Morgan Churchill, and myself, and the late Michael Skippy Hughes. And initially, we just set up as a club just to engage people in futsal because I was originally doing futsal in the Wrexham area with Brickfield Rangers, but unfortunately that came to a stop, and basically, what had happened then is that we decided to create a club which would continue the legacy that had been created. I actually initially had the FC United of Wrexham name in my head from 2016 because I always thought, well, what if I ever left Brickfield? What would I do? And I've always thought, well, I'm a bit of a Welsh football nerd to an extent, and I've had the passion since probably about 8, 9, 10 years old for my sins. But I've always looked at, back here, historically, you've always had like Cardiff City, but
Yeah.
then you would have Inter Cardiff, who were playing at the top level of Welsh football. I think, most recently we've had Cardiff Met, haven't we? And we've had things like, Swansea University who are on the up. But I always had the thought process of we've never really had another base team, especially in the last 50 years, I suppose, with the Wrexham name within the football realms, which could play in the Welsh domestic system. But I was only playing around with the idea back in 2016, and I was thinking of 8 names, and I thought FC United of Wrexham for whatever reason I did, um, and yeah, that basically it came to fruition in 2020, but we initially did it as futsal, but we needed a name that was going to be good enough to be on the futsal scene, because when you're on the futsal scene, um, you're automatically on a national scale with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You've got like Bolton futsal, Manchester futsal. So going with a name like, let's say, for example, the Eagles futsal, it just doesn't resonate with anyone. It doesn't
No.
connect. And for me, I think it was quite important to have that Wrexham name in. I remember going to sports awards over the years, and a lot of award winners of clubs, for example, not just football. Now this is in sport in general, that have that Wrexham resonating name in there. So Wrexham swimming, Wrexham tennis, and stuff like that. And I just felt like that maybe there was an opportunity for something like FC United of Wrexham, and then we grew. We had people coming to us asking, could we do football sides for us, and I just thought, well, why not? Let's give these guys opportunity. Everyone needs a platform in sport. I had to have a platform years ago. Yeah, okay, I was playing, and I've gone from playing, and I've always, into good roles, like when I've worked with Wrexham and Chester and so on. But I still had to have a platform to develop my coaching, management skills, and sport development aspect. And again, I like mentoring people and helping people, pull through really. And that was one of the things initially why it started. And the manager at the time did a great job. Unfortunately, a few dynamic issues within that happened, and which led to my uncle Michael taking over up until his death, which was a sad moment. And then the next managers came in. Both of them have gone on to win the reserve divisions for their clubs that they're now involved in. And the last manager before, which ended up on my doorstep, David Hughes, he's gone on and moved to Kevin Druids, doing academy football, which we got his C license sorted, and he's
Lovely
doing
stuff.
fantastic. Well, he was doing fantastic on the coaching aspect there, and but then there was no one left to do the job, and 3 years down, well, 2 years on that point down the road, I wasn't doing much with the football scene. I thought, well, why not? Let's see if I can get some wins, because the team wasn't doing very well either. I think it only ever had recorded one win last season. So I thought, well, let's give it a shot and let's see what happens. And I think that's a good overview, Ron, of where we're at. If I'm being honest, I think.
Lovely stuff there. So we we kind of know each other a little bit from our sort of a brief stint at Prestatyn Town.
Right.
I was part of this media stuff. I literally just joined in there. You joined as part of their coaching stuff. What was it like initially there from your point of view?
My son he got released from Flint, and he was wanting to stay in academy football and so on. And in all fairness, Deej Hobson, I think his name is,
Yeah,
he gave an opportunity to Kyron and invited him down to trials. And Prestatyn, to me, historically has always been a fantastic club. I've always had good memories of the area. I think I've stated down a few articles previously. It's where we used to go on holiday years ago with my grandparents, and I just think it just seemed at that moment in time a good opportunity. I think the academy system lacks massive opportunity in the Wrexham area for kids. I think it was always a bit of a closed shop going on with certain aspects, and we felt like Kyron was still good enough to be in academy football. So, Prestatyn presents itself as an opportunity. I came bringing Kyron. I got speaking to Jamie, the chairman. Jamie was always,
yeah, Jamie Walsh.
yeah,
Yeah,
he was always, lovely and presentable when I've spoke with him, and we still get on to this day. And yeah, it was just, he just basically asked me a few questions. Would I get involved and stuff like that if a few dynamic issues were going to happen? I think it was always on the cards, and I was always reluctant because I was still, at that moment in time, I was at Brickfield. I was doing a lot with the
yeah,
coaching
definitely.
and so on, and yeah, but that was initially how I kind of walked in the door at Prestatyn. It was through Kyron. It was never intended. It was literally, for me, was to hopefully give my son an opportunity, keep him in academy football, because that's what he wanted to do. And again, Prestatyn, great club. I've got a lot of memories. It's definitely, I'm definitely fond of the place still, and so it's a club close to my heart now as well. And yeah, that was that really. That's how it came about, Rob.
Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. I don't know what other questions I've got to ask you at the moment. Oh, yeah, so the donations.
Yes.
You know all about how did you manage to attract Ryan Reynolds of all people just to donate for your under 12s futsal side?
Yeah. Well, that was mind blowing, to be honest with you. That them couple of months was just, well, yeah, surreal, if I'm being honest. What had happened was, FC United of Wrexham have always been a fond supporter of the initial takeover. But
Yeah,
again, like I said, from 2016, being a football nerd, I've always believed that there was always a need for a Wrexham name side in the Welsh domestic system. So that's that. So we're we support the takeover. Um, so we've always put some lovely Twitter messages and stuff like that, and shown the support online. And then it's just one day Ryan just started following the club, which was lovely. We can't thank him enough for that. That's a great achievement. Hollywood star following us. So anyway. we basically we wanted to get a new kit for the team basically, because this kit that we've got currently was missing and stuff like that, and we didn't even have a kit supplier as a club because we'd lost the last kit supplier to some internal issues that had gone on. I won't go into it, but nothing to do with myself. Other people interfering, let's call it. And I went to this company called Black Rat, and they basically said, "Oh, let's do a kit that's going to resonate to the Wrexham town." And they came up with this one here, which was got the parish church on there.
Amazing.
You know, it's there, as you can see on the picture. It's got the parish church, which is one of the landmarks of Wales, in that shirt. And so one of the parents, we showed the whole club, and some of the parents were like, "Oh, we would love that kit for the under-12s," and the under-12s being the baby, the first group of FC United of Wrexham, when they were under-10s. They said, "Oh, can we do a donations page for it?" You know, and I was like, "Yeah, of course." You know, you know, when you're developing clubs and so on, you need as many people and everyone involved and supporting and feeling part of it and so on. So I was like, "Yeah, go ahead." Anyway, I could see that Kaylee is the parent, by the way, of the mother of Keegan, who plays for me. She was putting it everywhere, and what was happening wasn't getting much traction, as we call it.
Yeah.
Traction and traction. Let's
Traffic. Traffic is
traffic is better. Anyway, I'd been coaching the night before, and this is the unheard part of the story. I must have had about 6 cans of Carlsberg that night, and you know, but unfortunately it was a work night. But I'm still up for work, by the way, so that's all right. But anyway, I got up and I thought, what shall I just drop it in? And anyway, because I knew he was following the club, so I dropped it in. I said, "Oh, could you?" You know, I didn't expect him to donate or anything. I thought, well, he's there, he's following us. Let's ask him if he'll retweet it. You know, he's got 21 million followers. You imagine, the traction it gets for that. So anyway,
yeah, exactly.
I thought, what if it costs nothing, does it, to just retweet it? That's my viewpoint. And next minute, I get a phone call off Kaylee, and Kaylee's going, Chopper, yeah, some Ryan Reynolds is just donated money to the club. It can't be, can it? And I went, and at that moment in time, I'm looking at my phone, and I see the email saying, "Enjoy the uniforms." I was like, "Oh God!" I went, "Kaylee, it's true, like it's true." Anyway, next minute, she's like ecstatic and everything. Anyway, I'm feeling like guilty now, if I'm being honest, because I'm like, I don't know why I'm feeling guilty, but maybe it's just my personality, and I'm like,
Yeah.
bloody hell, I'm like, we need to thank him. So I'm thanking him, saying thank you very much, you know, because he put 600 quid, and the kits cost 480. Anyway, next minute he messages back and puts another grand in there, and he goes, "Oh, you know, for anything for the lads," and we were like, "Wow, oh God, all right." And I felt even worse, and I was like, "Oh my God, stop giving me things like, you know." That's what I was thinking at the time. Stop it, you know. But he kept. It was great, though, Ron. Do you know what I mean? We can't thank you. What a guy, you know, what a chap, like doing that for us. And but what we did once we had that money, we made a bit of a holistic decision. That's thinking, well, we need kits for the women's futsal. We need a kit for the men's football as well, because again that kit was hanging anyway. And that was where the initial kit idea came from, was to try and design something for the men's. Like, anyway, that was that really. And next minute it just went worldwide. You know, the media got onto it. It was everywhere. Like it was just, you know, on children's news round, FC United of Wrexham badge, and it's like, wow, is this really happening? And I'm thinking, well, okay, great, great stuff. You know, it's what I suppose is what, you know, what it brings. But then we you know, in all fairness to Black Rat, I'll give them this credit. They came out with an initial idea, and they said, you know, Ryan Reynolds just donated to you, like. And I went, yeah, and I was a bit, because I was probably like a rabbit in headlights going at this moment in time. He said, we should do something to honour him. So I can't take credit for that. He did that, like. And next minute, he decides to say, "Shall we put the Deadpool badge on the arms?" And I was like, "Oh,
Yes.
yeah, go on then. Let's get it on there." I think there was a few worries about should we do it or not, and I thought, well, at the end of the day, we're a non-for-profit company, we're a children's club, we're doing things voluntary and everything. Why not? If Disney come for us, then they can have me car. They can have me. In fact, they can have the club, because I thought of it this way: if they have the club, that means I've achieved what I needed to do for this club. I've made sure that we've got a Welsh club with Wrexham name in the system, and Disney can have it. So I thought, go for it. I'll take blame. They can sue me if they want to, right? Okay, but at the end of the day, they can have the club or they can have me car. So and that's how that came about, Ron. So it was me taking, probably some. So go on, let's do that, like.
Yeah.
But yeah, but that's that, and then I think ever since then it's been we had some further on engagement with Ryan. It was he took Keegan to watch the Sheffield United match, which was lovely. Sent him his message as well, because Keegan's unfortunately experienced some unfortunate events in his life, and yeah, and then once the new kits came, he loved them. Ryan did, and that was that, and that was great. It was great. But what we did as well, because one other person actually put some money towards the club, and that money we were able to get the Offside Trust logo onto the kit as well. And it's an organisation I've worked close with over the years as well. And I was actually one of the main lead event people for the organisation with alongside Steve Walters and Jim Green as well, because fair play to Jim. But we were all main organisers of getting that match, the Hollyoaks versus Offside Trust match going, which was at Chester FC. We'd love to have it at Wrexham FC. So if Ryan ever hears this, let's get it there. The next one there. But no, it was great. It was great. Like so. But yeah, that was basically that. And we're just now trying to sustain the club. Now it's we've had all this big hit. We've got this club going, and the costs of running a club is it's madness. I think I've shown to some people some of the breakdowns for if we're running a futsal men's, if we're running the football, it's ridiculous, some of the prices, and yet the lack of funding out there is poor. Yeah, again, some of the you've got to pay for your Welsh Cup entries, you've got to pay for your Welsh Trophy entries, you've got to pay your league affiliation, you've got to pay your North East Wales affiliation, and it's just constant costs. And next minute, when you're trying to get £10 for a fine or £10 signing on fee just to put them up on comment from a player,
Yeah.
these lads go, sack that, because I can go down the road and get it for free off another club, because they'll pay for it, because they've got I don't know, say a company backing them, whereas we don't get that opportunity to an extent. Or some clubs, which you probably know yourself, you've got to self raise your funds, haven't you, yourselves, like you do at MELIDEN.
Yeah.
It's tough going. Hence why the stuff you're doing to raise their profile and brand is to get the attraction in for it, and it's fantastic work you do, Ron. You know what I mean, for the club. Yeah, so we've just got to keep going, and the difficulty for us with futsal, because the youth section and the women's is futsal majority. Say for example, you go to football, you can have 6 months on a park field, which is at no cost, or you can still bring in a couple of quid, and if you've got like 20 people turn up, that's 20 quid per week, and that goes into the kitty. You can't have that luxury with futsal. You've constantly got your 400 quid a month bill coming in, because you're paying for the hall, and because the sport's played in a hall, yeah, you can see the nightmare for it. So we've always got them ongoing costs, and we charge parents only four I'm open to it, might as well say it, 14 quid a month. But some of the parents, unfortunately, they can't, they don't pay on time for various reasons. Some of them are struggling.
Yeah.
And when I came into sport development, Ron, right, and if anyone knows me, it was always to try and take away financial barriers to sport. I've lived in an environment. I remember one lad that you'll resonate with, Jordan Davis. He played for Prestatyn. You know, he's
Yeah.
had a great career now. Hartford West doing well there, but he, you know, he had to beg for lifts and everything to get to where he is. You know, to where he is now to get to Prestatyn. And if that young man kept that experiencing them barriers, he would never be where he is now.
No.
So I take, you know, I look at that perspective. You know, there's good players in our group who probably good enough to go on and play Welsh Academy level, but they can't pay the prices.
No.
So we're trying to just make sure we're breaking that barrier down via the sport of futsal, you know, which is a great tool for player development. You know, hence why the Premier League clubs use it for player development. And we're just trying to take away that term that it's the tennis of football and turn it into you know, something that people that wouldn't get that opportunity to experience it.
It's basically to make it much more open to the wider public, if you will.
Yeah, yeah, and that's what initially what you know I'm trying to do. You know, again, I've experienced hardships in my life over the years as well, and should that impact on the children in sport? And unfortunately, sport clubs need money to operate.
Yeah.
So what would happen? You know, does the children not go to sport? And next minute they're not keeping physical, not getting physical activity and living healthier lifestyles because a club says no, sorry, I need 40 quid off you this month.
Mm.
So we're trying to make it, you know, it's realistic and open, and like you said, helps young people, and that was one of the drivers why I went when I went to Prestat when I ended up being a Prestatyn's manager, because I wanted to help with make sure the academy was there, that's still there, because you have to be in tier two, didn't you?
Yeah, we're in tier two. We were in tier two at that time. That was percent. Well, it still is in tier two.
Yeah, and it was one of the things I know other unfortunate things have gone on, but
Mm-hmm.
that was basically my driver. It wasn't to go and be Prestatyn Town's manager. There was never no interest to me that.
No.
It was the fact that it was the fact is that I was thinking, hang on, there's an academy there that helped my lad who went on to Oldham Athletic at that point after that club, and they've got kids there that you know they want to play academy football. They want the opportunities, and I can see the impact and the power that can have for young people. So I that was initially one of the drivers. So what I'm trying to say is that you know I'm not it's just nothing to do with me in that sense. It's to do with more of a you know making sure young people have opportunities, and that's technically it. And
Yeah.
that's what I got into sport development for.
Lovely stuff. I don't know any other questions. Yeah.
No,
You,
well, you can ask me anything if you want to.
I'm all out of questions for you. Really, I don't know what else to ask you.
No worries, no worries. And I believe you. I can see you're a Man United fan though, Ronnie. Yeah,
Yes, I am.
yeah.
Been long suffering for this last decade.
Oh, we've definitely done that, haven't
Oh
we?
yeah.
Do you think next season will be the season?
No. The reason why I say it is because um let's think of it like this. Yes, we could have potentially new owners come in. But the thing is, like, there is still some rot at the club, and unless we get rid of that rot, we're not going to be competing for the Premier League anytime soon. Like, we were performing well until like March or April. Then we started to fall off, especially over this last week with the losses
Yeah.
to the unfortunate loss to Brighton, the loss to West Ham with that David De Gea mistake. We're going to be facing who are we facing next? I don't know, but what I can say is that we're going to be struggling for top two. Sorry, top four. Never mind top two. For this,
Yeah, never mind the top two. It's too far wide the gap there. But
yeah.
I
Too
totally
far
agree with
wide.
you. I totally agree with you. Maybe we could add this into what we're talking later if you edit it. But I think you know what I mean. I think you're totally spot on with the fact that we've started to fall off, and I do think Eric Ten Hag has done a great job
Yeah,
as a manager at Manchester United. But I'm starting to look around and think, is he doing any better to what Ollie's done and everything? Is it a case that we just seem to want to get rid of managers just for the sake of it now? But then you know what I mean? It's hopefully we do have these new owners. But I do like Eric Ten Hag. I think he's great. He's humble.
yeah, exactly.
He wants to learn. He does believe in the youth. He manages it fantastic. The way he handled the Cristiano Ronaldo situation, I think he's done really well. In all fairness, but this is where I get to. But has he done anything different to what other managers really have? And I think I start to see this answer as not really.
No.
It's just he's done the same for me. I don't know. I may agree, may not agree. I just hopefully these new owners will give him that support that he needs. But
Yeah.
and I actually Ten Hag's very likable. I'm not saying this to discredit him
No.
because I never would. Who am I to discredit him anyway? But the fact is, though, I just think that Manchester United have chopped and changed. Yeah, there doesn't seem to be a real need to chop and change. I think he's made the culture a little bit better, but then I look at things in depth sometimes, and I look at Anthony.
Yeah.
He's one stroppy child, isn't he?
Especially
You know, Bruno.
especially against Brighton when he got up into the face of Lewis Dunk. He is like he's like excitable as a character, but really he needs to improve on his body language. Like, and you were saying about Bruno as well, wouldn't you?
Bruno. And look at Bruno. I think this has probably been one of the most petulance I've ever seen Bruno this season.
Yeah.
Touching linesmen, whether he was right or wrong, I get it. And the fact that he's like, he just. We're on about he's got rid of this. You know, people have said he's got rid of this culture. He's got a bit of a control over him, but has he just got control over the players that he wanted control over?
No.
It's a difficult one, isn't it? And that's what I'm saying. I think have Manchester United chop and change when they didn't need to. As such, maybe they should have just put a bit of faith into Ole Gunnar. Now, when you look at it and go, do you know what? The guy just needs a bit of faith. He was still getting into them top 3 rounds with what he had. And maybe obviously these owners were always going to be, potential buyers were always going to come to this. Maybe Ollie could have been a man in a very good position right now if we would have stuck by him, because I resonate to this, okay? And I'll put it, and I'll try and bridge it so you understand it.
Yeah.
Life is always developed through experience and situation. Okay.
Yes.
Now, Brian Flynn, he was a man who put faith into young people and said they'll get there by having 30 games a season, which creates experience and situation. He did it at, he's one of the leading men with John Toshak in Wales as well. Let's get these guys up to, 50 caps, they said, with about Bale, Ramsey and all them. So what I'm trying to say is that with games and time and experience, people develop things. But this modern game doesn't seem to allow that kind of ethos and that philosophy and ideology this day and age. All right, and it's something that seems to be missing.
Because people are so really focused on stats. They are so really focused on numbers. They're not focused on what they believe. They're not focused on the physical aspect. They're not focused on what this manager is doing with this side in terms of excitability, in terms of development of the players. They're only focused on the stats, and that is where the breaking point is. Because as soon as someone sees the scoring ability is like position 10th in the league, you probably think that's a little bit of a problem, but a little bit of room for improvement. I saw a stat about De Gea the other day, about him, about his stopping ability or something like that, being positioned like less than 16th or 17th. You've got to think that's a little bit of a problem, and that's the thing. I am myself a little bit guilty about focusing on stats. I am a little bit guilty of focusing on stats.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, we need to focus more on the physical aspect, and that's why I concentrate on, like, with David De Gea's mistakes against Sevilla. You know that are huge mistakes when De Gea was really at fault for those 3 mistakes. The mistake against West Ham. You see what was physically wrong. You don't need stats to back that up. You see what's happening in front of you.
I think you're spot on, and the plight for David De Gea started even before that when he was with Spain. Obviously, he had his Spain moments as well. Was it 3 years ago? 3 years ago, I think I'll put something to you on this one.
Yeah.
You whether you want to add this later or not, it's good for the building up of this content and what we're doing. I remember Manchester United versus Liverpool. I was watching it.
Yes.
Two of the best Premier League goalkeepers potentially against each other now. It was only last season or season before. And Becker's in goal, isn't it? Alisson Becker, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, Alisson Becker. Yeah.
Yeah. And David De Gea. David De Gea makes a save with his foot, right, which is unorthodox style goalkeeping.
Yeah,
Right?
I remember that one.
What an amazing save! The best, the media, the commentators, and I love commentators, by the way, but the commentators sometimes fabricate.
Yeah, they
were
go over
going,
the top.
What an amazing save, David De Gea! Reactions of a cat when David could have just gone there. Becker makes the exact same similar save, but goes down with the conventional goalkeeping style of going with his hands, attack the angle, and so on.
Yeah.
Good save for Becker.
Mm-hmm.
But hang on, there was no difference. So what's going on here? So why is David De Gea making this world class save, because he's done it with his foot, in a medium range of that he could use his hands, and yet Becker makes it with his hands and it's just an average save. Now, is I just don't get it. I just don't get that. So has David De Gea lived on a legacy now, to an extent, even though he's made some important saves, because the media believe he's good? I think it goes down to why certain players are at clubs still, because of commercialisation.
Hmm.
Are they being at these places because, is it by their actual merit, or is it because other aspects is filtering into this? And I'm starting to think other factors are filtering into this, because personally, I think Kasper Schmeichel's a much better keeper than David De Gea.
Yeah.
Why is Kasper Schmeichel never been, and probably would have been the more suitable choice at times when David was having his plight, rather than going for someone like Dean Henderson? I don't know. The jury's open to that one, isn't it? Though.
Yeah. No. I'm looking at different replacements for David De Gea. I would have said Oblak, but I think that ship has sailed. I would think Donnarumma, but I think that ship has partly sailed. You think of, I don't know if he's too old now, Mandanda, but I don't know if that ship has sailed as well. So you're looking at different options, old and new, that could be better than David De Gea. And I do say this, I do miss Sergio Romero, because in cup competitions he was a beast. He was he was a beast, because like when you get in cup competitions, you want your cup goalkeeper. So like for Chelsea and City, you had what was his name, Caballero. You had Caballero in the sticks, either for Edison. Like you remember that League Cup final between Chelsea and City. Kepa. He did not want to be he did not want to be substituted off.
Yeah.
And Chelsea lost that game because of him. So you want the best goalkeeper for the best situations. You want a league keeper, and you want a cup keeper, either someone who's second choice or just rising up the ranks.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I like Miss Romero, and sort of want to have Henderson between six. But Henderson himself has made mistakes. Come on, we all make mistakes. But David De Gea is starting to make too much. But like,
his penalty to save ratio, I just don't think is very good either. When every time he's in goal, I remember watching the UEFA thing, and I'm thinking to myself, he's not going to save anything. He got halfway through. It's just goal, and it's like, oh my goodness. And even when it came to that shot the other week, you're like, oh no, you don't want him in there. You're thinking, is there any chance we can have a substitution here, like go for the keeper, because he just doesn't know. It's like he just gambles. What I feel when I'm watching him, he just goes.
As far as I'm concerned, he only made three great saves when it comes to penalties. As far as I'm concerned, through memory, the penalty save versus Arsenal in the 8-2 at Old Trafford, the save versus Everton in 2014, the game that saw him made that fantastic save from Jagielka, was it? from
I'm
long
not sure.
range.
I can't remember now.
And the third penalty against Everton again in the FA Cup semi-final, penalty by Lukaku that stopped them from equalising in the FA
Yeah,
Cup final semi-final 2016. Those are the top three penalty saves I remember from David Gea. But he's not made a proper penalty save that I've known from recognition since.
yeah,
He-
yeah. I can't remember anything myself either. And like I said, I've watched him. I just see a man just gambling
Yeah,
on penalty saves. It's just drop. He's just dropping and going, it's gone in. But hey, that's Manchester United this season,
even,
really.
even Tim Krul will be better than David De Gea. That's no cap. That
Yeah,
Tim Krul will
I,
be better than De Gea.
I believe so. If is a logic for you though. If you took David De Gea out and you put another goalkeeper in,
Hmm.
do you think Manchester United would still be in the position they're in now? And I think I know my answer to this one.
Hmm.
And my answer is yeah.
Yeah,
I think Manchester United would still be where they are. Just because he may bring out the top draw save now and again in a game, but then some of the other situations that where he's conceded, of them keepers would have saved anyway.
yeah,
So you still got that trade off. So, but the other keeper may have saved them other saves that he's made still. So there's a bit, they're at the Premier League for a reason, aren't they, these goalkeepers? But no, that they're just it's good to have that interesting conversation. But what do you think then? Do you think would they still be there? Would they not if David was there or not?
they they would still be in a okay position, yeah, because not I'm not gonna lie about this. Manchester United have been relying so much on De Gea, and the fact that he's made some great saves. But the thing is, like, I still think they will still in the same position, but if they don't get changed their personnel much, then they'll be in a worse position. And that's where investment needs to come in. You need investment
Yeah,
for better goalkeepers, and the Glazers ain't gonna do that because
really.
they are really tight for cash, and that is no joke. They need to go. So that's why we are hope. That's why I'm personally hoping Qatar comes in because you have the investment for the squad and you also have the investment for the training ground because the training ground, as Cristiano Ronaldo describes it, he says that the training ground has not been touched in development since 2007, and he left in 2009. So what does that tell you about that? And he tells you about how there are a couple of tiles missing in a swimming pool, and it's just broken, or just like some things are in maintenance mode. You need the investment for the training ground, and Carrington is just, even though it looks stately on the outside, it's falling apart on the inside. So you need the investment for every single bit of aspect of the football club in order to actually get above the elite of the ball. Because Manchester United are no longer an elite club if you think about it. Because if you want to be an elite club, you need to have elite facilities, and right now United don't have elite facilities. They're breaking down hugely.
I know. I fully agree, and hopefully they can get these new owners in. The Qataris. I think they'll be a fantastic addition to the club, and hopefully we can become the powerhouse. And if there's anything by the rumours, we'll have a new state of the art Old Trafford as well from the pictures that were released.
But here's the controversial thing, okay? Because I've seen some renders from a YouTube channel called Bondybot, which do like different renders for different stadiums around the world. They showed off like three different options for Old Trafford. Okay, one was to expand, which is to keep the current infrastructure, if not better it, but expand the Sir Bobby Charlton stand to just over the train tracks, which means the train tracks will still be in place, but the south stand will still be expanded, no less, to keep it in line with the rest of the stadium. So that's option one, which is to keep the integrity of the stadium. Option two is to redesign the whole outline of it, which means it'll be like the outside of Old Trafford would be completely rebuilt in a way like the Bernabeu is in Real Madrid right now. What we're coming up to, anyways. Make it look like I really don't want to say it like a toilet seat, if you.
A very shiny toilet seat, is that
A
what you're
really
saying?
shiny toilet seat, because I don't know, I really don't know, because if that design happens, yes, Old Trafford will be redesigned to make it much more modern, but rival fans will be like, toilet seat. so so I would like to focus on option A, but option C is a big one, okay? Because option C is to rebuild the whole thing, which is demolish Old Trafford, put it into a new place next door, because Manchester United have already purchased a lot of land around Old Trafford, including
That's right.
the huge car park spaces to the west, which is like industrial estates there. You could actually put in a new stadium in there and have like a youth stadium where the Old Trafford is right now for the academy team. It's like for youth and for the women's team, as well as extra facilities to go on top of that, and use Carrington as an extra base just for training as well. You would think, I'm not too sure, because you can't, realistically, you think you can't knock Old Trafford down because it's got too much memories, it's got too much history. You can't just knock it down just for the sake of rebuilding for the future. But you need to look to the future to create more memories. You need to look to the future to create more history. So you have to think,
Yeah.
what would you do in that situation? Because if I would think about it, I would really do like I would if I really had the choice, I would do like a combination of one of those. You would have like option A mixed with option C. So that is to expand Old Trafford as it is right now and improve the infrastructure around it, and have like the academy stadium on the extra car park space outside. That would be my personal option to try and go through with it, because you would still have your hallowed ground, you would still have the expansion, you would still have it looking modern, and you would still have your extra facilities for youth teams and women's next door. So that would be my personal preference. But the thing is, because I don't know, I really don't know to think about it. You know?
No, oh, bear me a second. Oh God, they've taken that. No, sorry, the bin men didn't come this week, so I've had to ring them up. I work from home, I do,
Yeah.
and the bin men hadn't come. They've just come, but I think my heart's saying that they just need to expand and make and improve the current site. But
Yeah.
if you did move it, and because I've seen these plans, right? What you're talking about as well is a bit of a Manchester City concept of what they've got there at the Etihad, which is a great concept, and it's probably something that
Yeah.
you would want anyway, to improve because of what they've done there. I wouldn't say it's genius, but it is genius, isn't it? What they've done is great. They've got everything on one side.
Exactly.
But but if you moved Old Trafford, which I've seen that car park they're on about,
Yeah.
just to there, that's still Old Trafford, surely not.
Yeah, that is still Old Trafford, but you're actually talking about the hallowed turf itself. You're talking about the
I know
ground
what you mean. Yeah,
itself.
the Hallow Turf is being moved, but then my heart says you just redevelop what you've originally got, but then
And
I
and
don't
and,
know.
and, that, and that's
I don't know, Ron. I'm in that
that's
position.
that's
I
why I
don't
say
know.
if I had the choice right now, I would have like a combination of option A and option C. So that way, you would still have your expansion, you would
Yeah,
still have a modern look about the stadium, have a still best looks about the stadium, and you would still have your Academy stadium next door in that extra allotted car park. So
yeah.
that's
No, I think that sounds good. That, in all
yeah,
fairness, that should be the better option then in that sense. But no, but we don't know what the future holds for any of these clubs.
no,
From Manchester United, FC United of Wrexham, MELIDEN. No one knows what the future holds, but all we know is that we've got to keep going,
yeah,
got to keep plugging away, and then hopefully we all achieve the success that everyone deserves, really, and especially for the volunteers, the players, all the time and dedication people put in, like yourself.
hmm
What you do, like I've said earlier, what you do for Melodin is incredible, and their club should be very proud of you. And I think I've seen your content. I'm a big fan of it, and I think you are the future, Ron, in what you do.
yeah.
And I hope that you know people see that and try to. not, I wouldn't say copy things, but take the ideas of what you're doing.
Inspiration. Let's say
Yeah,
inspiration, or um, that's as they say, imitation is the best way of flattery. If that's
yeah, of course.
yeah,
I know what you mean. I just think it's great. And like I said, and what you gave us, the video you did the other day for FC United of Wrexham, in the turnaround that you had, the turnaround you did it in was incredible. I was like blown away, and that's why I've wanted to, do something else with you like this, because I think what you do is just, yeah, it's mind blowing. And hopefully you'll be able to other clubs will see this. Hopefully, maybe the club like AFC Crew that I've just played against the other day, who, by the way, they fantastically support our donations page, and
yeah,
Gary Taylor Fletcher, their manager. Maybe they might, because they seem to be big on things like this. Maybe they'll want to, invest in someone like yourself, because yeah, I think what you deserve that, mate. And it's people like you, volunteers like yourself, in the game that are actually ticking off what the FAW strategic report is, that we've got to be more digitally improved, and that was in the
yeah,
report. I mean, if we want to go and increase sponsorships, if we want to go and increase, new audiences, if we want to go and get investment from other areas, we've got to do these. We've got to be doing these unique things. And like I said, what you're doing, and it gives you, hopefully this gives you confidence, is keep going at it,
yeah,
because what you're doing is actually working. You're getting things out there, and I think it's sometimes the people on the ground levels and the people around us need to see what is actually happening and why it's happening. Because, like I said, the FAW strategic report says it's there in black and white. You need to be more digitally
driven, driven.
driven, yeah, driven to develop, to promote your clubs, to actually attract what you need to attract. Being more on that marketing aspect. So no, keep doing, and like you said, and like I said, thank you for this opportunity. But I don't know if you've got any other questions you wanted to ask. I'm open to it today. I
I don't know if I got any other questions right now, but if we do something similar like this in the future again, and I have more questions, I'll definitely ask you.
No, brilliant. And like I say, thank you for that as well.
No problems.